Okay.
Don't come, I want to be a TV presenter.
Yeah.
And audition 1,000 times to get nothing. No.
Hello and welcome to Penny On. My name is Penny Leviane and this is my podcast. I am on point, on pop culture, on a lot of things. And today I'm kicking off my conversation with one of my favorite people in the world of entertainment, Mr. Joe Carrera. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. God, you never give up, huh?
No, I don't.
Jesus, I remember you as a desperate 20-year-old trying to be on that red carpet, convincing
Was I
that you
20?
were, when you were a 20-year-old, trying to be the queen of the red carpet. So you never really cracked it.
That's not true.
20 years later, you're still trying. I mean,
Joe.
look, 10 out of 10 for perseverance.
Joe, this is my interview. You're not going to be saying such things. So I'm going to be asking the questions
Okay.
and you're going
Well,
to be...
just like to
I'm
show
sorry.
how long I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years later on the red carpet. How long? How long? 40 years?
I don't know. I think Selatunzi was 27 years. Then Toti was 10 years.
Shell Road to
37.
Fame.
That was the last 4 years of Shell.
So when Shell Road to Fame started, were you there from like episode 1?
No. I came in on the last 3 years of Shell Road to Fame.
Okay. So what was going on in the world of South African entertainment at that time? I mean,
Oh, it was fun. We were doing people were doing drugs in toilets. There was no cameras to record it. I mean, we were just all happy. Nowadays, it's just a shit show.
okay, Joe. What year was that? 1980. Rebecca Malope won Shell Road to Fame in 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So I came like after she won.
After she won.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only person I remember who won Shell Road to Fame.
No, don't talk shit.
I don't remember anyone else.
Ringo from Peto.
Yes, when he was with Peto. I don't
No,
remember.
they won.
Yeah,
group,
Peto won as a...
Peto.
Yeah,
And although there were obviously a lot of other winners, but what came out of the Shell Road to Fame, which is even more important than Rebecca, who apparently walked from Limpopo
No,
to
Mpumalanga.
Joburg, or wherever
Yeah,
she came
Nelspruit.
from.
Yeah.
Nelspruit, which I don't believe the story. She never walked. But it was a nice story, you know. But what came out of Shell Road to Fame was musicians and backing singers.
Yeah.
So a lot of the musicians that you see today, like the pianists, guitarists, drummers, a lot of them were
Participating in Shell Road to Fame.
participating in Shell Road to Fame as band members and came through and were discovered and they were brought into to be
Mainstream.
the resident band of
Okay.
Shell Road to Fame. And a lot of the band members or backing singers that didn't win, but they had a voice, because
Yeah.
it can only be one winner.
Yeah.
They were roped into... So Shell Road to Fame wasn't just about Rebecca and that we all know, good for her, but it really drove the industry, gave momentum to a lot of musicians that currently are still
In the industry.
in the industry.
So this is back in 1987. So if you joined them in
about 80,
Yeah.
I can't remember. Remember, I'm like now 65, so dates are a bit wobbly to me.
shucks, Joe, I didn't realize you're the same age as my mom.
Yeah, but I look fabulous.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. Okay, so I'm trying to think, like, where did you come from? How did you even get into the entertainment industry?
Well, I come from Bellville in Cape Town, Portuguese family,
Okay.
and then in those days you had to do the army.
Did you go to the army?
Well, we had to, and I did. And I listen. I know it's going to be controversial, but I loved the army because I was a very shy, quiet, nerdish child. So I come from a family of 7 kids, but I was like the one that my mother always felt sorry for because I was like the nerd.
Oh.
The one that never got chosen to play for the soccer. You know, when they put you there and the 2 main guys have to choose your soccer team, and I was always the last one like left, and then you could see the other team would say, "Oh shit, him." You know, I was that person.
Okay.
And what the army actually did, and I'm not saying the army was right at the time, but what the army actually did, personally for me, forced me to get out of
Your shell.
my shell and to fight for myself, defend myself, because the army was hectic in those days. And just to expand on that topic, I firmly believe that the army is not necessarily made for war. Obviously, in that time it was, because you know what was going on. It's well documented. But you know, a year conscription in any country for young people that come out of school, because it gives you that gap of, because you know, when you leave matric, you don't know what
You don't really know what to do. Yeah,
be
your children are just forced to jump into things that they're
yeah,
not
like
ready
you know,
for.
you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer,
Yeah.
or this or that. And that year was a year of self kind of discovery.
But you get to serve your nation.
Yeah, whatever form, because I mean, today we still serve our nation in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So the army for me as a person did me well.
Okay.
And once again, I'm not defending the army of that time, but as a human, it kicked my ass and made me,
Discipline.
well, just, I had to fight for myself.
Okay.
You know, I had to fight to get out of the border, and there's a story to that. But how I got into the business, I came to the army, and in the army I met the love of my life, or the first, I had four. The first one,
The first love of your life.
I was in the army.
Okay, I better write this.
What?
4 lovers. I need to know more about how you have 4.
I had.
Okay.
So if
You had, yeah,
I'm
you had 4.
65, it's normal, it would be natural. Some have had 30. How many have you had?
I'm
And
trying to
you
get
like-
there.
Exactly.
Love of
So,
Shaw's life.
yeah, so this one, and he was a film editor
Wow, in the army.
in the army.
So in the army, you get to learn a lot of skills, right? Without the pressure of that particular industry.
So you had the medics, and they were usually the queer people.
Really?
Yeah, and the chefs.
The chefs and the medics were the
Yeah.
queer people?
Yeah,
Normally. And then
yeah.
there was production?
And then there was obviously the army had a little video department where
Yes.
they were, you know, videographing their triumphs.
During the army.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you had the medic department, then you had the mechanics department.
Yeah.
I obviously was quite ambitious in my newfound confidence. I became a lieutenant.
You were a lieutenant in the army?
Yes, I was.
Wait, do you still have your army uniform?
No, obviously not.
Okay, did you get any badges and things like
I
that?
got like 1 star. I was a 1-star lieutenant.
Okay, what were your responsibilities?
Funny enough, there was a group of us that worked against the army.
In the army?
In the army.
Oh.
So not everyone that went to the army wanted to be in the army.
True, because
So you either
were white young men forced to be in the army?
You had no choice. So you either left the country, which I wasn't going to leave the country because I love the country so much. And then there was a whole lot of people in the army that had to go, but they were working against the army, if you know what I mean. So it was a weird situation. So obviously there were those that were parats,
Yeah,
you know, we
yeah.
can't wait to go to
Shoot.
the border
To
and
the
this
border, yeah.
and that and this and that. So how I got out of going to the border, I got very drunk one night and I gave a chef a blowy. And then the commandant said, there's no ways you are going to the border. You're staying right in Pretoria.
Okay. So when you went to the army, obviously, like, was that like your first sexual encounter, or you had already been
I was
you
like
were already
24. Yeah, I mean, really, no, it was my first. Because I remember I went to university before the army. So if you were in matric, you went to university, they delayed your army training.
out? Okay.
But once you finished, you had to go do it. So you either went straight out of matric, yeah, it was just crazy. It was crazy times, and that's how I got to Johannesburg. So I met Dean, and when my 2 years was over, my choice was going back to Cape Town, and he was a Joburg person, and first love shit. I just phoned my family, says,
I'm not coming back.
I'm not coming back. And Dean, being a film editor, was working on a production, and he said, they need like a driver. So I'm going to phone the production manager, you can be a driver. And yeah, I was a driver, runner these were on feature films for like 4 years. So it was very frustrating because at that stage I was like 27, being driver, runner, and all these production assistants in the office were young ladies. And the next film they were production manager, and I was still the driver, runner. Next film they were the producer, but I realized they just screwed their way to the top.
What do you mean?
Like that's how they got from being a production assistant to a production manager to a production.
They were not skilled.
Now they were skilled, but they were skilled in both departments. So
would you say that's like how you need to do it in the entertainment industry?
Well, you should know.
Well,
That's why 40 years later you're still trying to be a celebrity.
Because I haven't screwed anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. It's never too late.
Never too late. There's always a market for
There's
everybody.
always a market for everybody.
Yep.
Okay. But now, Joe, you are a runner, a driver on this big film production. What is your understanding of the world of production and film at the time? When does the shift happen for you to say, that's it, I don't want to be driving everyone around?
Listen, I enjoyed it because, I didn't have to go back home, and then my family, because we never really spoke about my sexual orientation then. And to this day, we still haven't had a discussion. It's just there.
It's there, yeah.
So I was very happy doing that. And then how I got into television was by accident, like 5 years later, because I worked on films like the most famous one, if you can call it famous, was Red Scorpion, the one with Dolph Lundgren, which was shot in Namibia, which was very controversial at the time because it was sponsored by a right-wing organization, and it was the United Nations tried to ban that film from being shown.
What's it called?
Red Scorpion.
Yeah?
With Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
And that's where I met Grace Jones, because she was one of his girlfriends.
Are you for real?
So I had to go pick up at Windhoek Airport because I was the driver.
Ooh, yes. What was she like? This is 19 what? Grace Jones.
All I remember, she arrived in Namibia in a fur coat.
In the heat of Namibia, in the desert.
In a fur coat.
So obviously Grace Jones is Bishop Noel Jones's younger sister. That's where Tivo Touch grew up, people. In New York?
I don't know.
Yeah, the family lived in New York.
But look,
and now Noel Jones lives in LA. Bishop
really
Noel.
Interact with her.
Well, you drove her around.
I drove her
and
from
this is
Windhoek
Grace
to-
Jones. It's not just...
And the only memories I have of her, so obviously we took her to the apartment. Look, I don't know if they were lovers or maybe they were just friends.
She was wearing a fur coat.
Yeah, but she was Grace Jones. And all I remember is going to Windhoek with her to buy, she wanted to buy jewelry. And in those days, I think she bought the whole shop of ivory. You know, because they had ivory.
Oh,
But
yes, in those days,
remember those days. I mean, now you'd be like, so politically correct.
It's like now, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like
But in those days,
endangering
I remember
the
going
animals
to a
now.
jewelry shop with her, and obviously Windhoek, the white little, and she obviously wore glasses so that people couldn't see her. I don't know if Windhoek people would even notice who she, but she was huge, so would have.
Yeah.
And this woman just was like, I'm like this, and she spent like a fortune, and this woman was like.
So you were just waiting there for her as a driver?
Yeah, obviously. And then off we went back
To shoot the movie?
Well, she wasn't shooting. She was there on holiday, visiting her friend Dolph Lundgren.
Oh.
Yes.
Who's in the production?
Dolph Lundgren is the Rocky
Horror
guy.
Ah, that
The big
guy, that
suit.
big.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So
yeah.
she came to visit
To
him.
visit him on the set.
Yeah, he was the lead on that movie.
Okay, I'm gonna check out this movie. I don't remember it. We didn't have a TV when I was growing up.
No shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't. So then, by accident, so from film, you go to television.
And then the guy that I kind of gave up my life for, then fucked off to London.
Why didn't you go with him? I thought this was your first love.
I know, but the realities was, and I was stuck here, and then I got a phone call from, in those days you put your name on an agency. Oh, they're looking for a production assistant, I went, it was a TV production.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it, because the nice thing about the TV production was you were shooting, and then next month you could watch what you did on TV. So all those films I worked on,
it took forever.
Years,
Yeah,
I've never seen one of them.
Really?
No,
Not even now.
No, not even now. So that was my high, that you did something this week, and 3 weeks later it was on.
It was
on the box.
On the box. And everybody knew exactly what you do. Now your parents could be able to say, this is what Joe does.
I was still not telling them what I was doing, but I was saying I was working, so long as they knew I was working.
Okay.
And yeah, it was interesting, because after that production, I got a call to work for the production company that was doing Shell Road to Fame the last 3 years, and that's where, from Shell Road to Fame, that ended, and then SABC called me back to say, do you want to do a music program, which was Ism Torti.
Yeah.
But
so from Ism Torti, you started from season 1?
Season 1.
Okay.
With Romeo Kamala and Caroline
And Caroline Fassi, yeah.
And then there was a program called Ngomkibelo Kamkombelo, and they weren't happy with it.
Ngomkibelo Kamkibelo. So it had Vinole Mashiko's dad.
Yes.
Kansas City as well.
Yeah.
Kansas Mkhunu. Those are the two that I remember. Yeah.
And Dorso was part of it a little bit.
Is it in the beginnings?
Of Ngomkibelo Kamkombelo.
Yeah, yes. But he came in like towards the end when it was about phasing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Isbi said, we need to start a new show, blah, blah, blah. Ism Torti based on that other show. And that's I then got involved. Then I left Ism Torti, went on to Selatunzi. And that was like 27 years ago. And we started, if you remember, Selatunzi was audience based.
Yes, there was an audience in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
it was great, but after a while it just had to change. That's when I started the inserts, because I got basically letters. I want to meet that.
Okay, so before we get to the full-on Selatunzi, which is like your baby and how you discovered all these superstars. Now, so between Shell Road to Fame, on television at the time there was Diarora, which Nana Moloyo was in, and there was
Vinolia, wasn't
she? Yeah,
Diarora?
I think she would appear. She would appear in Diarora, and then there was La Puluja, which Vinolia's dad was also on at some point. So maybe I'm confusing Mkibelo Kamkibelo, because I know that Kansas City was in one of those, and then there was La Puluja as well. We had a black and white TV. I know that they all had afros at some point.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get these archives?
They're all at the SABC.
Yeah.
They're all there.
They're all there.
They're all there. I'm sure maybe a lot of them are lost.
Yeah. And then there was...
But they are busy digitizing as we speak.
Yeah.
But you know, the problem with archiving stuff, and it's one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life, but my life is not a mistake, so I don't regret it, is keeping my offcuts, because contractually you had to give all your tapes back to the SABC.
But you can keep the offcuts.
Well, no, you had to hand all your tapes back in a box. What they did with that box, only the good Lord knows.
They dumped over them.
Or they dumped them, whatever. But archives is a special skill. So obviously, you know, it's dedication and time consuming. So, you know, I mean, in the old days, the old Chinese used to sit there,
Yeah.
type the archives, because on the FCC you had what on the program. But naturally, then they retire, then there's a new lot.
And then they just, they don't
forget,
care, yeah.
So archiving at SBC would take many, many years to do, and there's priceless
Content. Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, with cloud and all that, and archiving is easier because you just put it on a server, what, on a drive. But the content that's there, and I still believe to this day that content is of interest to many people.
Yeah.
Not only to the older generation, even the younger generation.
Yeah.
I remember I did a program for Encore, that was a revisioning program.
Yes,
SBC.
yeah.
I did a program called Vavas, and all I did was go through all the music from Torti, Selatunzi, and other programs, Jam Ali, and to see Tandiswa Mazwai, first performance with Blackjack, Black Knife.
Black Knife, with Black Knife. Yeah, with Black Knife. Yeah. Jackknife.
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 To see Mafiki Zolo,
Yeah.
when they first started singing the Lotto song.
Yes.
Now, if you had to play it today,
Yeah.
I mean, people are interested to see Boom Shaka when they first started.
Yeah.
The whole list, Trompies, Oskido, just not only them, Brenda, blah, 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 blah. To see them when they were younger. People, there's an interest. People want to see that.
I want to find some of my stuff that I first did on SABC. How much does it cost to get access to archive material? Would you know?
I think it's about, there is a cost because I did something recently on Lucky Dubie. I had to research, go to archive for his foundation. There is a cost, and they bring you the tapes. They go on the system, draw it. But what I got from Lucky Dubie, I mean, there was some footage, but I know there was so much more. So I'm not a really technical person.
Okay.
But I mean, you can store your stuff for eternity. So I mean, I wonder, in a million years' time, when a new species arrive and they see
the
all the crap on this cloud, this is how these people lived,
Yeah.
but there's only coloured people on Earth, because by that time we've all fucked each other. So then the mainstream colour skin is
mixed race.
So there'll be no black, there'll be no whites, there'll be,
which really doesn't exist. It's just,
we'll all be a different colour.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I'm talking about
the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so off from the boring topic. So what exciting stuff do you want to talk about? Going back to your first love.
You're supposed to, no, that's done and dusted. He then eventually died. And life moved on.
Okay. So,
he was a white person, by the way.
Well, I didn't think he was black.
Because everyone thinks...
Your first love was black.
Yeah. And actually, that's a very wrong perception.
Okay. Why does everyone think that your first love was black?
No, because everyone just thinks I slept with black people, which is also wrong.
You didn't sleep with black people?
I have once or twice. But, I mean, people just make up their minds out there. Yeah,
why do they make up their minds?
I don't know, because that's just people like to talk shit.
Okay. So, when you get onto Selatunzi, I mean, Selatunzi is almost like a lifestyle entertainment magazine show, but it's always been that show that propels young stars and put them out there. Was that always the intention, or what was happening?
Well, for all the faults that I've done and had and whatever, I must say, one thing that I'm really proud of.
You can put your water on top of the table.
But because it's not branded.
No, exactly. But
No, but I like it.
Now that I know that you're 65, I'm very careful.
So one thing I did very well, and I will say I did very well, besides all the other things that people okay, so I didn't do well, was I chose people, presenters well. I think I had that talent to choose them. So if you look at Selatunzi, Dorso, which I brought over from the last dying days of Nkobela because we needed. And there were two presenters that they'd chosen. I'm not going to mention their names, but after 2 shoots,
They were terrible.
I mean, I just knew, and they were very sweet people. I mean, I'm sorry that I got rid of you if you might see this. But when the one presenter said we were interviewing Trompis, now Trompis was huge at the time.
Yeah,
They were about
traffic.
to, they were going to now perform, and the one said, and with us tonight we have this famous band called, and this person didn't remember what the band was called. And then I just said, okay, time. So they were there for like 4 months, and then that's when I brought in Chaos, Azam Korsi,
Brown.
and then Chaos came afterwards, and then came the first female presenter was Sebulelo.
Yes, Zibulelo. Yes.
Yeah, she left because of personal reasons. She didn't like the limelight, and she's doing so well today.
Is she a pastor?
No, she's
Estate
agent in the Vaal area for Unicum.
But she was on the show for like more than four years.
Yeah, but there was an incident that happened, and I think I can say what happened. Because she was a sweetie. I got her from. Remember she was
so
doing an
sweet.
ETV morning breakfast show.
Yes.
And that
yeah.
came to an end. And,
Yes.
and I just
It was
liked-
very short-lived, that breakfast show.
Yeah, and I just liked her bubbliness, and then she came through, and but and she made the right choices. Today, I mean, I actually spoke to her last week. She's happy. She's going to turn 45 or whatever.
And then she left the show. She left the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it was a once again, the newspapers about her and Fat Joe. There was something that happened, or maybe did not happen. And she just said, this is not for me.
Yeah,
so after she left, she still worked in production and sports.
Oh,
at
yes,
SABC.
she did.
Netball and
Yeah,
things
netball,
like that.
yeah.
But she made, and you know what? Not everyone is desperate for fame, like Penny.
Who's desperate for fame? Joe, you gotta stop
but-
saying that.
Okay, no, you're not. You're just trying to make a living and feed 2 children.
I am making a living and I am
and
feeding two
yeah,
children.
because you're-
Actually, and I was feeding my mom, my dad, and my siblings before I fed 2 children.
It's amazing.
I've always been feeding
Yeah.
people.
You're a little bit like me. We kind of married the wrong people. But anyway, so she left, and that's when I think was it Zizo,
Yes.
and then replaced. No, Zizo's the pastor.
Zizo
Beda,
Beda, Zizo
yeah.
Twete.
Yeah.
She's a pastor.
Well, not a part, but she does.
Yeah, she does the alcohol.
every Sunday morning, and she's amazing. Love her dearly.
Okay.
Then there was Kanya,
Kanya, yes.
and then there was
Another Hodi.
Candice.
Then there was Candice Mudiselle.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Zanele.
she left, and then there is now Zanele
Potelwa.
Patelwa. That's like wiping you under your feet. I mean, she's done more in her 2 years than you've done in 40 years. I mean, that's amazing.
What do you mean? She's done more. Why do you
mean,
keep comparing me to
she-
people?
From someone that came from nowhere,
Why am I the butt of your jokes?
but it's a podcast. It's supposed to be kind of humorous. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
But I mean,
all
listen,
these people that you're mentioning, I love them dearly, by the way, and they're my babies, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
So
it's
before we go to
amazing.
Zanele, let's talk about. You said Candice left. She's an actress.
Yeah, no, she's also now Jesus person, which is great. I'm also a Jesus person, but she does a lot of on Instagram
Preaching. Okay.
and motivation.
That's great.
And no, she's amazing.
And the boys?
Okay.
Dosto, Zam.
Dosto's
Chaos.
an educator, in the Val.
Yes.
Because he was a teacher by profession.
Yes.
So he's high up in the Department of Education.
Have you seen his daughter?
I know, she's fabulous.
Oh my gosh, she's stunning.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
stunning.
Miss Little Noche.
I know.
I know.
And know what? And no one knew that.
That's.
that you
But I
were-
love how she didn't
and
write
then-
on that.
And then I posted a picture,
Of them.
and everyone like, wow, is this your? And then so Brown died. Shame, bless his soul. I think he drank too much Amstel. Kidney failure.
So can I just ask you something about Brown? Was that his real voice?
Totally his real
Did he
voice.
speak like that all the time?
All the time, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You woke up speaking like that.
So I drove with him once to Botswana, right? And I thought he's
shame,
going
huh?
to forget and speak properly. And he didn't. And then I was just like...
that was Brown's. Either he had trained himself to speak like continuously, but I never heard Brown in another voice than that voice. And it's amazing how SABC did not want him as a presenter because of his voice.
Okay.
And I was convinced that this voice would do something.
Okay.
Because I mean, I couldn't understand him half the time.
So that was Brown's voice.
Totally. And I
Right.
met Brown in a studio. He was recording something with someone. And in those days, I was allowed to have a guest presenter, which I thought was great.
How
Remember?
come you never had me as a guest presenter?
Because you were famous already.
Okay, so Baby Joe. Why are you called Baby Joe?
Because one of my very first bosses from the movie, the director, was called Joe Zito of Scorpion. Now,
Okay.
movie that spoke, and I was his personal assistant.
Okay.
So for the crew to not because I got a small whatever, for the crew to differentiate me from him, he was Joe, Big Joe, and I was
Baby Joe.
because I was his personal assistant.
Oh, I love that.
So and it just stuck.
It just stuck, Baby Joe. Okay, so we spoke about Selatunzi and your journey as a producer, executive producer and co-founder of the Feather Awards, as well as legend of the South African entertainment industry. So I was trying to paint that picture. So you've been in the industry for over 40 years, am I correct? About.
Yeah,
So let's talk about when South Africa is transitioning into 1994, because part of the conversation that we're having is celebrating
because of
30 years
30
of democracy. So La Poloja is pre-94. Those shows like Diarora, Ngomgqibelo, Kamukibelo is pre. So Ezimtoti and Selatunzi, they're part of after 94. If my
Selatunzi
memory-
started in 1996.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, it's
after
after 94.
Ezimtoti
Yeah.
pre.
Yeah.
Because I remember on Ezimtoti where I nearly got fired because I had Peter Makaba coming in the ANC choir
Whoa!
singing The Lion of the North.
What?
And the producer, which was a permanent staff member, and I never forget, I was hoping he'd never see that shoot, but I told him, this was in 1994,
Yeah.
just pre
Must
the
be
election.
93, 94 there, pre-election, yeah.
And still got where Peter Makaba came in and sang Lion of the North.
Yeah?
You know, that's,
With the ANC choir.
ANC choir.
We gotta find that footage.
It was brilliant footage. Wow. And it's all there. So, and then I left, and that's when another production person took over, and that's where Arthur came in to present. Arthur presented
Arthur Mafokate.
Ezimtoti.
Oh
Remember
yes, he used to
Rome?
do stand-ins, I remember.
Remember
with Caroline.
Romeo then became a big boss
At Metro, so
at
that's in 97, yeah.
Metro, and that's where we had a discussion, because then I was still very friendly with him. He said, I'm now part of Metro FM, we need to do something to vibe up the station. And then as a joke, I said, why don't you do a music awards?
Yeah, that's
and
what
that's how
Metro FM Music Awards
was born.
yeah.
And the very first one was held at the
venue.
Pyramid.
The Pyramid, which, yeah, it was
Were
called
you
the venue.
there?
I was there.
Were you there?
Yes, I was there.
Of course you were there, because you were everywhere. Even if you weren't invited, you were there.
No, I was working at Metro FM.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Then?
was, yes. All right,
Okay.
I was, yeah. I'm one of Romeo's recruits. So I joined Radio Metro before it transitioned to position to Metro FM. So
yeah.
I was there.
Okay.
I was there in 1997,
okay.
98. Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. I was.
Because I always remember you was everywhere.
Yeah, I was. So let's talk about how you almost got fired. What did Peter Mkawa do?
No, so the bosses were very mad that they thought I was electioneering for a certain political party.
Were you?
I was obviously I was going to vote for.
For who?
Well, the ANC, but that wasn't done on that because it was topical. The record company. You know, in those days, the record companies used to come with their CDs to your offices.
Yeah.
And say, I've got this. Then you got to choose. They bring like 20 CDs, and you got to choose like who you got to invite into the
So
studio.
you chose Peter Mkawa and the ANC choir during election season.
Not because they were relevant. I mean, people were. I thought that it was relevant at the time.
So why were you almost fired?
Well, in those days, the production company of SABC was called Safratel.
I remember Safratel.
Safratel.
Yeah.
So Safratel was run mainly by white
Afrikaners, yeah.
people. So
Did Safratel become Endemol?
no.
Or some of the people
No,
went...
Safratel just closed. Safratel was an internal production
internal
arm of
SABC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Endemol is something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, then I nearly got fired for. Okay, that was stupid. I had guessed the occupation of someone, and I managed to source a car hijacker.
What?
And then I guessed that he was a car hijacker, and that caused a lot of.
Wait a minute. So you had a car hijacker as a guest?
Because I had a game like guess the occupation.
Guess
And
the
I do-
occupation.
and I know car hijacking is not an occupation, but it was a misjudgment on my
What
part.
show was this?
Selatunzi.
Oh, those games that used to be played on some... Yeah.
And then also when Oskar came onto the show drunk and we interviewed him. There's only three.
Back in the day
Yeah.
when he used to really be pissed
Yeah.
and pee on himself.
Yeah, and I don't know about that. But those are the three, like, I shouldn't have done that kind of.
Okay, how drunk was he?
I'm not sure, but I thought it was most amusing.
How? What did he say? What are the things that he used to say?
Talking shit, and I thought it was very amusing. So I should not have put it out. But I didn't
Was he
think-
pissed off with you?
No, he actually, I think he enjoyed it because there was even Sowetan even had a cartoon
Of
those-
him?
of like him on the toilet drunk, and looking and reading a newspaper. But he wasn't like
Didn't he have an album cover like that?
something. I don't know. But I mean, listen, he wasn't falling drunk. He was tipsy.
Well, he
I
doesn't.
think.
I don't think he drinks anymore.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't. Have you seen? He's so boring.
Yeah,
now.
he doesn't
only eats
drink
vegetables
anymore.
and-
Yeah, he doesn't drink anymore. He does TikTok and
No, no. But good for him.
yeah,
He's amazing.
very good for him.
No,
He
listen,
is.
He's
He
a
is, yeah.
legend.
yeah,
I
he's
mean,
definitely.
yeah, no,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
really,
He's really
cleaned
up good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Rodney wasn't cleaned up, but
no, but I'm saying
he changed his
ways.
ways of life. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also changed.
Yeah.
We all change.
Okay, so you almost got fired for putting that out for ANC. Like, what were you on? What was your political standing and inclination at the
So-
time? Especially because you had been in the army.
So remember I get this job on Charlotte to Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'm a Joburg boy. I've got a lot of white gay friends.
Well, you're a Capetonian. Now you're a
Yeah.
Joburg boy with a lot
Yeah.
of gay white friends.
But
Yeah.
now I work in an industry that
With black people.
with black people.
Mm.
So subsequently, all the gay white friends died of AIDS. That's why people always say, Joe, don't you have friends your age?
Mm.
And I've got a handful, few.
Yeah.
But all my jolling friends
At the time. Yeah.
are all dead.
Okay.
And then you live your industry, you live your work. So
Yeah.
then you start living
So
the
you-
music
the
industry.
music
You start
industry.
living, going to
Oh.
events, going
Yeah.
to functions, and
That became your life.
that just became. It wasn't a bad life, but just became.
Yeah. So let's talk about that era. I mean, I can remember as a youngster growing up in Soweto and the conversations on television and radio and newspapers about this disease, HIV and AIDS. And you, as a young person at the time, in this crazy entertainment industry. What was going on at the time? What was going through your mind dealing with that?
Look, it's a very personal story because in 1988 I was diagnosed with HIV myself. And I remember the doctor said, you got 6 months to live because your T count is 90, And then that was another reason not to go back to Cape Town. To say, okay, I'm not going to go to my family. I don't want them to see what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So that was another motivation to stay in Joburg. I thought, they won't see what happens to me. Fine. However, maybe just luck, or I don't know, because or your bodily makeup or body composition. But I remember then we were on AZT, that pill that was very, apparently now it's toxic.
Yeah.
Was,
very controversial.
But I was on AZT for like 12 years. And I remember at that time it cost like 3,000 Rand for 3,000 Rand to get a month's supply.
Yeah.
And then me and a couple of friends, and flying to London was 2,500 Rand. So then what I used to do, we'd get money to send me to London. I'd go to I think it was the John Hopkins.
Yes, John Hopkins.
Hospital.
Yeah.
And then I'd tell them I live like in the far end of England.
In the farms.
Or wherever, so coming to London. And then they'd give me 3 or 4 months supply. Then I would bring it back and then I would try and distribute it to... Wow. So I used to fly in and out like every 4 months just to go there for... Because it was cheaper to
get there, yeah.
There and then get those... Because the year cost 12,000 Rand and a ticket cost 2,500 Rand in those days.
Yeah. But also there was that conversation about, access to medicine and public health and whether that whole, there's HIV cause AIDS and a lot of stuff that was going on in the media at that time.
No one knew.
No one
knew. In reality, no one
Yeah,
knew.
no one
So
knew.
I know my friends all died and some of them led super healthy lives.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends was a Jewish person. It could be any person, but they were very wealthy. And his mother kind of just fed him organic plants. They everything was the right thing. Oxygen tanks, organic plants, free range. I mean, but he passed on, and meanwhile I was still smoking, drinking Jägermeister. But I do believe, and I have a theory, and I know it could be very, what people might say, what the hell. I have a theory. I don't think, obviously maybe luck, body, blood, whatever. But I believe reinfection is because once I just knew that, not that I was fond of penetrative sex anyway, but I just, because you could have a sexual experience in different ways. So, and if I have to put it down to something, I would say about reinfection, and I'm not saying that is the thing, but I would say it played a major part because it was wild days. So if you knew you had AIDS, people would just go out to clubs and carry on fucking because you were told you were going to die, you're going to die. And there was quite a lot of controversy in that time where we knew X was positive, but X was still going to the clubs, doing what they were doing. And there was a group of us saying, but it's your responsibility. I mean, not to, but I mean, people didn't care. Like, I'm going to die, so you know what, fuck this. And subsequently, I had 3 very successful relationships, but it was told up front, and our sexual life was very different and very fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? So, as you know. But I mean, the ARVs now, which is now publicly available, accessible to everybody. End of story, should just be taken. And you know, I get mad when I hear people
have gotten off medication.
Have gone off medication, and then they hear they died from a headache, and they died from a this, and
they're not looking after themselves.
You know, and yes, you got to stand and queue at the hospital for, you know, for your medication. But coming from a colonialist family, I just go and buy them.
Coming from a colonialist family, you just go and buy them.
But because they're cheap.
Because they're accessible now.
They're 400
yeah, they're 400 rand and they're available. They're available.
So it's like, you know.
But you know, at the same time, you know, you stay in this entertainment space, and I know that you sort of like been that voice of reason for a lot of people who might have found themselves facing challenges around HIV and AIDS or any other chronic illnesses.
Well,
because
I wasn't really an activist in that.
Yeah, but you had private conversations with people.
Private conversations. I wasn't. I'm not there. I'm not a private person, but things. It was not my role. There were other roles. I couldn't compete with. The hardcore, and I had no intention to.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has their own role. You do it privately, you do it softly, or you go out there with banners. I have no time for banners. I mean, personally myself, I applaud people that do that. But
you do a lot of stuff, you know, with Tommy for the queer community, and Tommy loves banners.
Yeah, but that's his. I'm still not going. I've never been to a gay pride march in my life.
Really?
I don't like wall-to-wall queer people.
Are you one of those homophobic queer people?
I'm not homophobic at all.
Okay. I
Give me I go to a bar where it's mixed. It's always been my life.
Yeah.
I go to mixed
spaces.
Or friendly spaces.
Okay.
You know what put me off going to gay, homosexual places? I remember when I was first in Joburg, I see these men my age walking with T-shirts and vests, and I'd say, please, Jesus, I don't want to become like that, because I found it sad.
Why would you say that, Joe?
Because it looked pathetic.
Okay.
You know, and I just said, I don't ever want to become like that.
Okay.
And
so you're just your shorts and T-shirt guy?
No. So they were there kind of looking for love, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I found that like, I'm not going to be that person. And literally at the age of 30, I never went back into
the clubs.
A gay space,
Okay.
a purely gay space.
Okay.
But look, it's there, and it's, you know, everyone's got their own choice.
Yes, that's true.
That was my choice, and I don't say it's a wrong choice or a right choice, but it didn't suit me. I liked going to bars that there were all different kind of people, and obviously, I mean, gay people, straight people. Now we've got to include trans people, non-binary people.
Yeah,
it's very complicated.
Yeah,
but you know, that's the spaces I like to deal with.
Okay, so we're looking at 30 years of democracy, and we're celebrating and reflecting on how far we've come. I mean, when you look back, what are some of your highlights? You were talking about how you were working on Lucky Dube's stuff, right? When you look back at the last 30 years, and you can, you know, if you had your own, I don't know, top 10 moments or something from in entertainment.
Well, look, entertainment. Sadly, and okay, people say, oh, he's old, but sadly, entertainment is not what it was. Okay, I'm not saying it's not as good or better, whatever, but the style and and I mean, the cell phone killed it. In terms of people going out to enjoy themselves. So if you had an event like the Dugus, and not only the Dugus, other parties held by record companies, you'd go there, you know, you could drink, you could party, you could look horrid. No one would give a shit. There was no one to take a photo of Penny hanging over a bar and then posting it out.
Okay.
So things have changed now. Everyone is posing. So everyone is
Trying to look put together.
and that automatically doesn't make those individuals. And I feel sorry for them. Like, go out and really having a good party,
Yeah.
because there will always be someone that click and then post, and I'm sure it does affect the people that are being posted. So in that perspective, entertainment has changed, and I think it's become less fun.
Okay.
The changes, and look, and it's great to see a lot of people making a living out of podcasts, YouTube, whatever. As another source of revenue, and it's a business. You know, some people just do it for fun, and some people take it very seriously, because it's a business.
It is a business.
That's how they earn their income. Highlights. Listen, for me, 30 years. Highlights was definitely that first election, standing in a queue, because I was living in Hillbrow,
Wow.
at the Hillbrow church, standing
That
there.
must have been magical.
It was totally magical. That's got into the entertainment, but that was really a highlight. So I'm of an age where I know that side and that side.
Yes.
So I see the transition, and some of it has been good, and some of it has not been good.
Just like life.
Like life, and we're not giving up. But I see a lot of disappointment in a lot of people, and it saddens me that is the case, because it shouldn't be. So I don't have a car, because I think 2 of my cars are somewhere in Soweto.
Stolen.
Not stolen, but I
You gave them away.
to friends and they never returned them. So I Uber. And having conversations with Uber or Bolt drivers is really, besides friends,
Yeah.
but it's really interesting to hear what, because obviously they like to talk, you know.
Yeah.
I like to talk, they talk. And I'm very excited about this election,
Yeah.
because I think this is a waterfall. They always say every election, waterfall change. And I think this one is really going to be
Decisive.
a decisive one in whatever way, direction it goes.
Okay. Because also 30 is a coming of age. So in your own personal life, when you turn 30, it's a watershed moment.
Yeah.
It's either you're like, I'm no longer a child, a young adult. I have to face the reality of adulting, you know. And if you, it's like firstly the grip of your parents as a teenager.
What I have to face, I'm 65.
Well, you just have to
facing
enjoy.
the autumn years of my life.
you have to enjoy. So let's talk more about those highlights, things that you think about. I have this memory of me and you at Sunninghill Hospital when Brenda Fassie was in a coma.
Oh, she was always in a coma.
Well, this is like the final
I mean,
moments.
not like really in a coma, but she was in a fun coma. You know?
Yeah, but that time is like, that's just before she passed.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And then you were like, Penny, go away with your candles here and no praying. Let's just let her go. Like, I mean, I'm saying it in the nicest way.
Well, I mean, if she was so ill physically, I mean, sometimes it's good to let people, and obviously kind of, it sounds horrid, but it's not horrid. Because this last 3 years I've experienced 13 deaths around me. And you know, and funny, I'm not afraid of death anymore. And I was petrified of the idea of death. But this last 3 years, I've been not in it, but I've been around it.
Yeah.
And you also realize that there is time for someone to go, no matter how much you love them. There is time for them to go. If it is their time, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Brenda lived an amazing life. Yes, she had issues and whatever. She still owes me 10 grand because I've loaned money for her. And I think she either took that money and I don't know what she did with it, but she was dead 2 weeks later. But that's beside the point. But, I mean, listen, when I say go home and whatever, not in a mean way, you know, the gods to decide what they were going to do with her. You know what I'm saying? And I think she must probably left very happily. You
Well,
know?
I guess it was a very traumatic time because it was just like, you know, I was hoping she comes out of that and like have this big comeback story. But the signs were there that it's leading to that kind of moment, you know, at the time.
Well, no, listen, we still listen to her music.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I'm actually tired of listening to Weekend Special, I'll be honest with you. Whenever I hear it, it's like,
Okay.
but people listen to it,
Yeah.
and other songs.
That's true.
For me, I mean, I don't find the Weekend Special the best song, but that's
What's your
still-
favorite Brenda Fassie song?
I'm not going to say, otherwise the record sales are going to go up.
Oh, okay, Baby Joe. But you also got to work with Caroline, who was like, what, her
Niece.
niece?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's lovely.
Caroline's happy.
No, she's cool.
She's very cool. You
She's
know
very cool.
Caroline?
I know, she's solid. Doesn't have time for
no.
nonsense.
She's a real shebeen queen. I'm not saying she's running a shebeen,
Yeah,
but
she's like that.
She's
yeah.
like,
like, get it done.
and gets it done.
And gets it done.
No.
Yeah.
And she also opted out of the fame.
of the
If you
fame.
think about it, Caroline was the first kind of it girl on Charlotte Road to fame in terms of TV, wise.
And she had that
That
offside hair
and
with
she
the
and-
braids
yeah,
and,
then-
she was so
and she
cool.
and Romeo made such a great combination.
Yeah.
Ism Taught. They just clicked.
Yeah.
There was
I think
always-
they were the baseline of what came after that and all the
and like people
pairings.
wanted to say, are they fucking? No, they're just friends. You know,
They had great chemistry.
they had great chemistry,
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
yeah. And I saw Caroline recently when the passing of KC. I went to his memorial,
Yeah.
and she was there because they were great.
Yeah, they were
friends.
great friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Highlights. You've only given me 2. And I led you to the other one.
There's a lot. I mean, you know, the whole thing is a highlight. I think. I mean, I might not sound that enthusiastic, but whatever my situation is now, financially, whatever, which is not the greatest, but then I'm okay. But the whole thing's been a highlight for me. You know, seeing young kids doing well, and obviously seeing other kids that never made it. But I remember the young kids
Who started out?
that started out doing well, and they like industry players, or they're still. I mean, like someone like Mafiki Zolo, Klanka. I mean, she's like just amazing. She's still out there. She's, you know,
The superstar.
superstar.
International businesswoman.
Tembi,
Yes.
you know.
Siete.
Siete. I
Yes.
mean, like, you know, there's a dispute about her. Labour was this and they were that. But you know what? Fuck it. Tembi is
It's here.
there. It's looking
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Eugene from Trompies who became an EFF went to Parliament. Now they're putting on number 70 on the list. He won't go back to Parliament. Chose the wrong party for him. But they're all industry players, you know.
And how they've evolved over time.
how they evolve. And going to the bashes.
Yeah.
And one of my highlights was when I road managed Lucky a few times.
You
into
road
Africa.
managed Lucky Dube?
Yeah. But only-
Locally?
No, not locally.
Internationally?
Yeah,
Yeah?
internationally, like Senegal, Uganda, Ivory
Wow.
Coast.
That must have been magical.
You know,
Because that
and,
man was loved outside of this country.
and that's a sad
Thing. Yeah.
These concerts out there, 100,000 people in those stadiums.
Uganda.
Chaos. I mean, you know, maybe the stadium only took 40, but 100,000 people would squeeze in there. Police sirens from the airport to that hotel. He was like a god there.
Yeah. Wow.
And sad in this country, I'm not saying he wasn't loved, but I don't think we paid that much respect to his greatness. And if you look at his, and funny, I'm not one to listen to the lyrics of a song. I just like to hear it. But if you listen to, we've got to cut this short. The cameraman's sitting down now. It's obviously the hour's over. But if you listen to his lyrics and what he sang about, I mean, they were powerful, stories, messages.
Yeah, but this is 30 years of democracy. The cameraman will
And-
stand up again.
No, they're young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so the
Okay, now you
lyrics.
must end it. It's an hour.
Yeah. The lyrics of Lucky Dube were poignant.
Do you
Yeah.
do you listen to them?
Yeah, I do.
Slave.
Yes.
I'm a prisoner.
Yeah.
And now he
One
turned-
people,
And now
one
he-
nation.
Like he wasn't. Was he given a big funeral by the government?
No, but he practiced.
No, because he's
That-
saying
but he's-
shit about the government.
No,
at
besides the
end.
government, but I think because of his religion, he wanted that kind of a
As-
funeral.
Yeah, but they
Yes.
could have still had it a big time.
I don't know. I
in
don't
the-
remember if they had a big memorial or something for
No.
him. Okay, I don't remember.
But anyway,
Yeah.
that was a highlight. Although I was not friends with Lucky, because he was not a difficult man. He was very private.
He was
man.
very private man.
Yeah, so you'd go on tour with him, and his band members would run amok in the countries. But all he wanted was his hotel room, his fish, and his salads.
He was vegetarian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you never saw him. The only time you saw him was when he was
A real superstar.
going into the car, combi or bus to go to the stadium, perform from the stadium back to the hotel room. So having a conversation with him wasn't
Okay.
wasn't on that level.
All right.
That was the highlight. The other highlight was what? I don't know.
Okay. What can you say to 30-year youngsters who are like jumping on into the entertainment industry? You know?
Find another job. That's what I can say.
Why?
This industry is ruthless. Out of 100 people, 2 make it.
Oh, come
Be in the
on.
industry only if you've got a rich parents that will pay your rent.
No!
Otherwise, find another job. And that's what I say. And that's what I will keep on saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, Joe.
Passion smashing.
Passion smashing.
Yeah, no. Get another job and then do your passion side on the sideline. If that works, then do it.
Okay.
Don't come, I want to be a TV presenter.
Yeah.
And audition 1,000 times to get nothing. No. And that's a sad reality because we've got so much talent in this country.
We do. We have so much talent. What are we going to do
And
about
then
that,
people
Joe?
like you that get jobs because you've got X amount of followers. And say there's like a Penny that's got no followers. She won't get a job.
Yeah, I won't.
You know.
Yeah, and I'm very talented.
Yeah,
Yeah, very skilled,
And for me,
very
that's like a big
knowledgeable.
disappointment that getting a job is that they want to know how much followers you have. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
But
Okay.
anyway.
All right. Your wish for our country?
My wish for my country, because it is mine,
It is yours.
I just want the children to be protected.
Yes.
It just kills me.
Yes.
I want everyone to be protected as well.
Yeah. But the
But-
children.
But just the children.
Yeah.
I just like, when I look, sometimes on Instagram they show me stuff and I just can't look anymore.
Yeah.
Because children are vulnerable, and even older people.
Yeah.
Us, we can fight. We've got our tongues, we've got our. We can. But now the young generation, the children, and the older generation, who have given their lives for us,
Yeah.
must also now be protected.
That's true. So you have 2 little boys.
No, I don't have.
Well, you
but-
adopted,
No,
yeah.
they haven't adopted. They're
Oh.
just 2 little boys that grew up with me.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, it's always a worry, and they don't live with me anymore because of circumstances. They live in Spraytree, but just children, I don't know, can drive me mad. Can drive me batshit.
Okay.
So I hope that we, that famous word Ubuntu, whatever. If we can just all Ubuntu ourselves into 100%,
Awesome.
it would make a huge difference.
Okay. I think we can cut it, Joe, because
Yeah, no, please, Joe, I got
yeah.
an appointment.
I love this Joe. I love all forms of you. I love the cheeky, funny, crazy, sharp-tongued,
But
and I
I'm-
love this compassionate Joe.
But my life career hasn't ended yet.
Yeah,
There's lots to be done, and there's lots.
What are
going
we
on.
doing? Because I'm working with you going forward.
Well, I don't know, but there's things that are going to be happening this year. It's a good year for everybody,
Yeah,
and people think, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, I'm doing a lot.
you're doing a lot.
It will come out. It will bear fruit.
Okay. So thank you for birthing the Dugu Dugus and the Feather Awards, the only 2 awards I have.
Is it? Shame. How sad. Let's see if they were relevant. Best dressed. Oh, that's always like, Miss World, you get a second runner-up because she's Miss Personality.
This is best dressed female celebrity year 2000 SABC 1.
2000.
Yeah, it was at the Joburg Theatre. Don't mess with me. This is important. A few have these.
Yeah.
This is classic, and it was best dressed, not the stuff of, people running around with funny clothes and.
No, but you made an effort, so you deserve to be where you are.
Of course.
And you're still young.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, please close the interview. I've got an appointment.
That's it. That's Baby Joe. He's got an appointment. He's got to go. Thank you. He's on. He's the one to know.